On today's episode, I'll tell you what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks. Then I'll tell you how I came up with my company name. You're listening to the Pharmacist Voice Podcast, a journey-style podcast about my career change from pharmacist to voice actor. I'm your host, Kim Newlove. I alternate solo shows and interview shows. The solo shows are about my career change, and the interview shows feature a variety of people who use their voices to advocate, educate, or entertain. I specialize in medical narration and e-learning. If you have a project in mind, visit my website, thepharmacistvoice.com. That's The Pharmacist with an S, voice.com. Thank you for joining me for episode 20. The Pharmacist Voice podcast has listeners in 37 U.S. states and 21 countries. I just want to take a moment to say thank you for listening to my show. May has been a busy month for me. First off, I need to share some big news. My new website launched last week. I need to give a big thank you to my project manager, Alex Sanchez, and his team at voiceactorwebsites.com. They developed a great-looking and very functional site. The site is also home to the Pharmacist Voice podcast. I also need to give a big thank you to Brad Newman at Upper Level Hosting for guiding me through the tech pieces that go into changing websites. I can't thank you enough. Everything looks great, and I'm really happy with how things turned out. Thank you again, Alex and Brad. If you want to check out the website, visit thepharmacistvoice.com. That's The Pharmacist with an S, voice.com. The last 2 weeks have been filled with plenty of activity. I'm still adjusting to being able to focus on my voiceover business full time. My husband is doing a great job helping with the kids so I can audition and direct market to potential clients. I really love what I'm doing with my voiceover business and the podcast. I have met so many great people because of both. It's been such a great experience. My guests are amazing, and I love to hear how they use their voices. Plus, their network of supporters has liked, commented on, or shared my podcast across several social media platforms. Hey, I appreciate the engagement, and it's fun to watch my little podcast touch some lives. Throughout the month, I've met and connected with a number of voice actors, too. One has even become a medical narration workout buddy. Time zones are tricky, but the practice is helping me stay sharp and get better. Every other week, I meet with my voice actor accountability buddies. A hot topic that came up last week was Source Connect. What is Source Connect? Well, it's a voiceover industry tool that allows clients and directors to listen to a recorded session with a voiceover talent and give them direction about how they want a script read. So you're getting the director in your headphones. After talking to my buddies and taking a webinar with Tim Keenan on directed sessions, I realized that I'm missing out on opportunities by not having Source Connect. I'm giving more serious thought to getting connected. Wish me luck. This is probably going to be an ongoing topic. On a personal note, my husband has been home for about 4 weeks now. Quick recap, he lost his job about 4 weeks ago when his position was eliminated because of a reduction in force, or RIF. As a family, we have loved our time together. Now that he's had some time to get organized, he's working on updating his resume and his LinkedIn profile. He's just about ready to start looking for the right job. It's an exciting time. Now I'll tell you a story about how I came up with my company name. 3 years ago, when I was brainstorming a company name, I didn't know I was going to be in the voiceover industry. I didn't even know what the voiceover industry was. It's a small miracle I ended up with the name that I did. It really works for the voiceover industry. Using my identity as a pharmacist in my business was important to me. Having the word pharmacist in my company title was a given. I knew I wanted to use my voice to do something. I put the words pharmacist and voice together, and the name The Pharmacist Voice organically came about. Using my voice is very important. Having a voice is so very important. Until my husband lost his job on May 1st, I was the primary caregiver for our son, Craig. He's a nonverbal 17-year-old child with autism. The term nonverbal means that Craig can't speak. Some doctors say it's because he has an aphasia. Another suggested that he has apraxia of the mouth and body. Nobody really knows why he can't speak. For whatever reason, he literally cannot use his voice. He can laugh, and man, it sounds like music to my ears. But I have never heard my son Craig tell me that he loves me. Think about that for a second. Even when Craig had his wisdom teeth extracted last spring, he couldn't tell me that he was in pain. He couldn't tell the school that he was constipated from the anesthesia either. Too much information, I know, but for anyone raising typical kids, please know that people raising children with disabilities struggle in ways you couldn't possibly know until we share. So now you know. Craig had a rough time recovering from his wisdom teeth extraction. He's tough, and he's strong, but he has no voice. It's hard to get your needs met when you can't communicate. Many people with disabilities have no voice, either literally or figuratively. That's why I identify so strongly with using my voice. I want to communicate messages that are important. Now I'll tell you something personal. My son Craig has a communication device. It looks like a tablet, but it isn't an iPad. He touches a picture, and it speaks words. He literally talks in pictures. When I need to get through to him, I don't use his device to speak to him. I use picture cards. Or pictures, photographs. Or physical objects. The other day, I was asking him, do you want chicken fingers or do you want fish? And I held up the bags that the food was in, and he just pointed to the one that he wanted. It's primitive, but it works. Just because he has a communication device, though, it doesn't mean that he knows how to use it 100%. Emotions like pain, for example, are not in his skill set. They're on the device. He just doesn't understand how to express what pain is. Can you imagine if your child could not tell you that he was hurting? I'll tell you, it breaks my heart sometimes. Luckily, I know Craig very well. Even though he talks in pictures, I am his voice. If he needs something from an unfamiliar person, I help him communicate. I know what it means to be the voice for something important. My son is important to me and my family. If you've ever cared for someone and needed to be their voice, like an aging parent or a person with a disability, maybe the power of attorney for someone who's in a coma, you know how very powerful it is to have a voice. When it comes to my business, I can use my voice, literally, with spoken word, but I can also use my voice in writing. The company name is versatile. I absolutely love it, and it's very personal as well. I hope you can tell. I feel very blessed and very thankful to have the company name The Pharmacist Voice. I can combine my voice and my identity as a pharmacist to do work that I love. My work allows me to support my husband from home and raise our children in the unique way that they need to be raised. Let's wrap this up. May has been a busy and exciting month. I'm looking forward to sharing more of my journey with you on my next solo episode, Friday, June 12th. Thank you for listening to episode 20 of the Pharmacist Voice podcast. Please visit thepharmacistvoice.com to subscribe and read the show notes. That's thepharmacist, with an S, voice.com.